Hey, thank you so much for watching. I am Pamela Peterson. I'm an enrolled agent licensed by the Department of Treasury, and I am here with Mike Sullivan. He's a former IRS agent and he's a former IRS teaching instructor. And we are here to discuss what is the threshold of amount that you might owe the IRS for when you should seek representation. So, when should you hire a professional when you owe tax debt?
And as you know, Pam, we get that question all the time. We get everyone from 6,000, 7,000, all the way in the millions. We have a huge scope. Generally, first of all, you've got to be able to pay somebody at the end of the day. So if you only owe anywhere up to 10, 11, 12,000, you're not really going to be hiring a professional firm because they charge professional fees, just like we charge a professional fee. And I get this question a lot. It's a great question. And I know you've got that from time to time. You're really looking at someone who owes 30, I mean, 40, 50, $60,000 because those are why. Those are the cases IRS pays more attention to because those are the people that IRS thinks or knows that they make more money. So IRS is going to look at those financial statements carefully. Plus, IRS knows they're going to probably get a significant payment agreement on. So that's usually the threshold. And of course, we go up to really millions of dollars. One of the cases we have is a $12 million case right now. And the reason you do that is you have a higher graded person at IRS looking at those financial statements, and they know when to take a careful eye. I think what people, Pam, aren't aware of is that IRS only allows certain expenses. Like if you want to try to send your kids to private school or college, they're not going to allow that. So there's things that we can do on the financial statement that they may find beneficial. But like I said, if you owe up to maybe 20,000, call them yourself. Generally, IRS feels sorry for the person not making a lot of money. And, as a result of that, they're usually a more gracious. Most of these people at IRS, a lot of them brown bag it to work, so they don't make a lot of money. The people answering the phone, and it just makes common sense. I hate to say this, but I'm trying to tell our audience the truth. When you start owing 50, 60, 70,000, IRS, just human nature, they tend to be they're going to look a little more, they're going to look more careful at you at that dollar amount. And as you mentioned in a video a time before that, they're really looking at people who roll up tax debt. IRS doesn't like people who don't file returns and roll up tax debt. That's a really big no-no in the eyes of IRS, and IRS is going to come down to you a lot harder. Don't you think so, Pam?
Yeah, and the other thing that also happens within that threshold bracket, for 2024 it was 62,000. Maybe they've increased it for 2025, but at 62,000, they can go after your passport. So if you've got imminent travel plans, just know that not only are they going to be putting levies and liens on your property, but they can also go after your passport. So that's, that kind of threshold, that dollar amount is really when you want to seek professional help to make sure that you are being represented in the best light possible to get you the best tax debt relief, the best payment plan, or offer in compromise, instead of trying to do it yourself, because there's a lot of little things that, as normal citizens, we don't normally know. We don't get taught this in school.
Yeah, IRS really did a fast one. Usually, you don't think of a government agency sliding anything in a bill, but the IRS about 8 or 9 years ago through the FAST Act, FAST, it certainly was. It's for the resurfacing of roads and transportation system. They threw in this legislation. It started at 52,000 and today it's 62,000. Great point, a matter of fact, that you bring up. Not only when you over, IRS considers that serious tax debt before they send you out your 508C letter, they file a federal tax lien. If you have a power of attorney on file, they don't send it to that power. You know what happens? People who don't answer that go to travel, and guess what? they ain't going to travel. They're staying home, and you're not going to get your passport back fast. That's just not a phone call that you can make. You've got to call IRS, give them a financial statement, and yeah, you got to make your way through the system to get your passport back.
And know too that, if you think, oh, maybe I owe 60, I'm not at that threshold yet, just keep in mind that interest is always accruing every single day. So don't think, oh, you got a letter that says you owe this much, and you're going to keep owing more, and it just gets harder every tax season if you haven't filed, or um, it just keeps getting worse. So
Yeah, and not only is it the interest, Pam, I think you brought it up on our last show. There's the failure to pay penalty,
yeah,
which is 6% a month, and interest. I think statutory interest is at 7%. So
yeah.
right now you got 13% per annum on interest and on failure to pay. So it
And
really adds up. Good point.
the penalties stop at a certain point, and then it just becomes I might be getting correct.
No, 4.5 years. The failure to pay drops
Okay,
off at
yeah,
4.5 years. But by that time, you owe
you
a
owe a lot.
significant bag of cash. Yes.
Well, Mike, thank you again for all of your excellent knowledge and shining a light on this dark, scary IRS beast. If anybody watching, if you've got a personal situation that you'd like a little bit of guidance on, drop a comment in the comment section and we might address it in a video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.